So in this episode, we're going to talk about what to do if he's flying out to meet you and he's obviously booked his flights, he's booked his hotels, and you're freaking out. You are wondering, should you cook for him? Should you plan everything? He's paid all this money for his plane and for his tickets and blah, blah, blah. Here's what you need to hear. You are worthy. You are enough. And you deserve for a man to fly. I don't care where he's flying from. Next town, next state, next country. He's flying all over the world to see you. You deserve, you are worthy, and you are enough for a man to come and fly you. I see so many women. This was inspired from a client of mine who was like, oh my God, he's flying all the way from California to meet me. And we've talked everything. I've heard so many amazing things. Should I cook for him? I love to cook. He spent all his money. So she's like freaking out. The first thing to know is that you are worthy. You are a feminine essence woman. And I reminded my client of her beliefs that she has worked on and she has embodied. You got to feel inside your body that you're worthy, you are enough, and you deserve for a man to fly, I don't care from where, to see you, right? This is a given. I have a question for you. What would it be like if you were to completely lean back, relax and surrender to the whole process? If you were to get out of your head, planning the weekend where this guy has and just drop into your body. When I work with women, it's all about embodiment. It's getting out of your head and into your body. So what I recommended this client, because she's freaking out. Well, first of all, I reminded her of the whole philosophy and of the whole polarity of leaning back and letting the masculine lead. And I invited her to see how could she relax into her body and let this man lead. He's already bought everything, He arrives and let him lead the dynamic forward. One of the biggest mistakes that women do is they actually jump in and they start to plan everything and they start to like cook him dinners and everything. It could be just because he flew all the way and like booked his hotel. Like, I'm sorry, that's a given. If a man wants to be with you, he'll fly from Mars to see you, okay? This should not concern you. He's made a decision to see you. Instead of feeling like you owe him something or you owe him to plan and you need to contribute, I invite you to lean back and actually receive. Receive this man coming to see you and continue to receive while he's here. Of course you can cook a meal for him. Of course you can contribute in small ways and show him around. But it shouldn't come from a place of like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Like I understand, like for this woman, for my client, she's actually celebrating a win with us because this happened for the first time in her life, that a man came to see her all over the world. Amazing. If a man came to see me, I'd be like, amazing, thank you. And yes, I deserve that. Do you know what I mean? So your job is to work on that, to get out of your head, to work on embodying these beliefs. And in terms of practical things, what I invited my client to do, and if this happens to you, I invite you to actually just relax until he gets here. And when he gets here, then you can decide whether you want to cook or not when you feel it in your body. Maybe he's planned the whole weekend and, maybe he's already checked the restaurants. He's planned dinner and everything. He just hasn't told you yet. So he arrives and he's like, what should we do? And you're like, I don't know. What do you feel like doing? And during the whole thing, you're not leading. It's maintaining that polarity that's really, really important. And so if you feel like cooking on Saturday night, especially if you're like my client was dietary preferences and actually eating in, and you're a great cook, eating in is better than eating outside. I would actually see what he has in mind or let him lead. And if he says, where would you like to go? What would you like to eat? Then you could say, I have some dietary requirements and I'd prefer to cook, if that's okay with you. Now, if you haven't ever seen this man, this is your first time meeting, inviting him to your home is a little bit, it's very private, right? Unless you've developed a lot of rapport before this with a man, you've been talking to him for quite some time and you really trust him and know him, then I would go for it. Otherwise, I would find kind of a middle ground. Even if you can't go to a restaurant, find a nice like sunset beach picnic or picnic somewhere on the lawn or whatever, right? I invited my client to continue to flow on embodying these new beliefs and massively leaning back, continuing to funnel, right? One of the things that women do is like, oh my God, he's coming all the way from California. I'm just going to stop seeing all other men and I'm in a relationship. It doesn't matter where he's flying from to see you for a weekend. You're not in a relationship. You perhaps have just booked this weekend for him and you've dedicated all your time to him while he's here, but you're not in a relationship until the claim happens and a man officially invites you to be his girlfriend. you're single and dating. And that's what this is. So it's not a big deal. You don't need to make anything out of it. And if he asks, I'm looking forward to you showing me around, let's say, you're like, sure. And then you just let it go. I wouldn't even think about it. And I know it's not natural. Look, I've done this before, right? Where you're like, oh my God, he's coming. Especially if you really like the man and you're looking forward to it. It's natural to be excited and to like plan, right? But I invite you to actually not plan and to continue to get out of your head and into the body. And when the day arrives, you'll see what happens. Maybe he's going to plan everything, right? And I guarantee you, if you don't send him links or ask him what he wants or whatever, he's going to come in and say, hey, I actually did some Google search or whatever. Why don't we go or to this museum or to this architectural thing or to this event or whatever? And if not, you'll just see during the day how you feel. Maybe he's just going to come and see you and you're just going to walk around on the beach these 2 days. Like, you don't know. See how you feel. And of course you know where to take him, right? Because you live there. And so it'd be like, oh yeah, cool. We can go, to the harbor. But there's absolutely no leading, planning, and getting into your head about it. This is really important to maintain because you're maintaining that polarity, that feminine masculine polarity where the man feels in charge and he should be in charge of leading the dynamic forward. And then all you got to do is lead back and receive and actually communicate to him. So now we're getting into the part of when I say completely relax and let him lead, I also don't mean that you have to be this kind of like ice cold queen that doesn't do anything to, or doesn't say anything, doesn't do anything to appreciate him and to really let him know how much you appreciate the fact that he's flown all the way here, that he's booked his hotel to see you. You really appreciate it and thank you, right? And it can also look like you cooking a dinner or you go for breakfast and you may be offering to pay for breakfast, right? But the big expenses and the leading of the dynamic should be done by him. That's how you do it. So yeah, hope this is helpful. If yes, let me know below the comments. And actually, if you're watching this YouTube video, click on this next video to learn more about how that feminine masculine polarity works and how you can make that happen in your dynamics with men.